basketball season has officially over. I would like to give a shout out and congratulations to the UConn Huskies women's basketball on winning their 12th championship. So with that being said, welcome back to another episode of D-Hop TV. On today's show, I would like to introduce to you guys Coach Carruthers. Appreciate you taking the time to come in on my podcast.
Thank you. I appreciate you for having me.
Oh yeah, thank you for sure. So before I get started on your journey, you was telling me how you just came back from the Final Four. So I would want to ask, like, how was that trip and the Final Four experience for you?
Oh, it was great. It was amazing. I haven't seen a lot of those kids since I coached them for U16 with USA, and so it was a good experience. My anxiety was high, but
yeah,
it was a good experience.
Okay, I know there's a lot of people out there, but I've never been to a Final Four game before.
It was. That was my second one attending. We had one here a couple of years ago, and man, they do it. They do it right. They do it right, and each year it gets better and better.
Okay. Oh yeah, I understand that. So let's go ahead and get today's show started. So let's go ahead and ask. So, where are you born and raised at?
I was born in Los Angeles, California.
Okay.
I was raised in Minnesota.
Okay.
Actually, spent about 15 years in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
Went to high school at Apple Valley, Minnesota, where Trey and Tyus Jones graduated from. I like to say that because I was there before they were there. So.
Yeah.
but okay. Yeah, I was there till I was about 17, and then I went to college, University of Colorado Springs.
Okay. So. That's nice. I've never been in Minnesota before. I heard all about all of was it America, the Mall
of America.
Mall of America. Uh-huh. Is that big like they say it is?
It is.
Really?
It is. It takes about 3.5 hours to walk around the whole thing.
They get a lot of snow down there in Minnesota, don't they?
We did.
Okay.
We did.
Okay, yeah. So you're a basketball coach. So what do you like to do outside of coaching?
Outside of coaching, I like to travel.
Okay.
And I also like to write.
Okay.
I like to write poetry.
Okay. So what's some of your favorite books that you like to? Well, you say you like to write, but
I do like to write. I read a little bit.
Yeah.
But I write more than what I do as far as reading, writing. I write more.
Okay. How long have you been? That's just always been a hobby you just picked up since you was like younger. Just always a big time thing for you.
Yeah. Yeah, traveling and writing.
Okay. I need to go ahead and travel more. I be wanting to travel a little bit more. I just came back from Memphis, but I'm from Arkansas, so I only look at that as a vacation because it's like right there. So, yeah. So, going back to your coaching, so how did you get involved in the coaching as a whole?
What was that? My freshman year in college, I was on a scholarship to University of Colorado Springs.
Okay.
We practiced at the Olympic training facility in Colorado Springs.
Okay.
And so the Olympians would be in there, NBA players, and I'll never forget Reggie Miller was in there shooting while we were practicing on the other court.
Okay.
I went down, broke my ankle, and I had to redshirt.
Okay.
And so typically when you are out, you're not playing, you don't travel with the team.
Okay.
Well, our coach during that time allowed me to travel.
Yeah.
And so she utilized me as like an assistant coach.
Okay.
And that's when I became so intrigued with helping my teammates and looking at the nuances of the game. Okay. And so that's how I got into coaching.
Okay. So you was a player at first. So what position did you play when you was playing?
I was a 3.
3? Okay. Yeah. So how has been the transition from you going from a player to coach, and how was that transition for you?
I thought it was going to be easier than what it was.
Okay.
Being a player.
Yeah.
But it was not.
Okay.
I wanted everybody to have the same drive, the same passion as me, and it just doesn't happen that way.
Okay.
So
yeah, I understand. Did you have a favorite player growing up before you started playing?
Yeah, Penny Hardaway has always been a favorite of mine. I had his posters all over my dorm room. But as far as females, I would have to say Lisa Leslie, Tina Thompson, because we saw those players as we were going to practice.
Yeah.
So they were there training. So, yeah, some of the Olympians were definitely my favorites.
Oh, yeah, I know those practices was real tough. So going back to your coaching, so what would you say you like the most about coaching?
The most, I love helping kids.
Okay.
I was a high school varsity coach for 16 years. And I love helping kids get into college. Okay. And not only get into college, but just be successful in life.
Yeah.
Basketball is a real small piece of it.
Okay.
And so I've built a relationship with a lot of my kids who to this day, I can't get rid of.
Yeah.
And love them dearly, but I just want kids to be successful, and I want to help them get to wherever they're trying to go.
Yeah. So going back out for your kids, so would you say you was a tough coach? I know you got the relationship with him, but I know it was sometimes where he's like, yeah. So how was that for you? So what would you consider yourself as?
At first, I was a tough coach.
Yeah.
Some of my kids that I had in the early stages will probably say that I became soft.
Yeah.
But I think I just got smarter.
Okay.
On how to handle kids.
Yeah.
I would never admit fault when I was in my early stages. Mm-hmm. And then as I got older, wiser, I was like, they got to see that I make mistakes too.
Yes, ma'am.
And so once they started seeing that, and I'm human, just like y'all are, y'all gonna make mistakes, I'm gonna make mistakes, it opened up a whole different realm for them.
Okay, I feel that. So what has coaching just taught you as a whole?
What has coaching taught me? That being a coach, you can forever learn.
Yeah.
I can learn from anybody. It could be a middle school coach.
Yeah.
It could be a peer. It could be a mentor. And I steal from everybody. You know, there's no sense in reinventing the wheel because it's already out there. So just learning from any and everybody and being open, I think that's the main thing.
Yeah. What would you say is like the most thing that you don't like about coaching? Is there something you don't like about it?
I would say that it is the one job that everybody wants to criticize.
Yeah.
Because everybody thinks that they know everything.
Yeah.
Right? And you don't.
Mm-hmm.
So as a coach, you're going to do what's best for your team. Yes. Whereas parents, they want to do what's best for their child.
Yeah.
And so that was really the only thing that was hard for me at the beginning.
Yeah.
Now, when I became more comfortable, more seasoned, I'd have my meetings with my parents, and I never really had issues.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing. It's just everybody can criticize your job being a coach.
Okay. So that brings me to my next question. So how is it like dealing with parents and their playing time? I know you have some of the parents out there, my child needs to play more. So how did you ever have one of those situations?
Absolutely.
Okay.
But my parents were great.
Yeah.
And I think it's because of what I established from the jump. I would have parent meetings, and I would let them know at the beginning, I'm qualified.
Yeah.
So I'm never going to come to your house and tell you how to raise your child. Definitely. Or come to your job and tell you how to do your job.
Yeah.
So respect me and don't do that here. I'm going to do what's best for your child and for this program. Okay. And when I established that, I didn't really have any issues. I would let them know that your child needs to have those difficult conversations with me. And so they need to speak to me before you bring an issue to me.
Yeah. Okay.
9 times out of 10, that would knock it out.
Yeah, most definitely. Just tell them to Google you. Look at the rap sheet stuff.
No, I'm not going to do that.
So who would you say probably was like your biggest role model, who had the biggest impact on you in your coaching career so far?
I would have to say 2 people, and they're my mentors till this day. I still have a relationship with them. My high school coach, Ruth Zinn, she is now a college coach in Minnesota at St. Thomas.
Okay.
I've known her since I was in the 4th grade. Her husband coached me, and then once I got to the high school, she coached me. And Wanda Talton.
Yeah.
And she was the first coach in AISD to win a state championship. She was my mentor. I coached under her.
Okay.
Those 2 women have been intricate parts in my life as far as coaching.
So did you meet them through basketball, or you already knew them like before that?
I knew Rusin through basketball when I was a kid.
Okay.
And then she was actually my high school coach.
Okay.
And then I met Coach T when I was coaching at her feeder school.
Yeah.
I was a junior high coach first.
Okay.
And then she was the head coach at Arlington Bowie.
Oh, okay. Okay. I understand that. So would you say like your past experience have helped you, shaped you to being the coach that you are today?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Okay. So what would you say, like what experience have you had, if you could think of one, that like you feel like this may be your biggest impact that's been helping you today?
Well, today, I guess 20 years of experience.
Yeah.
You know, going through being a junior high coach, being an assistant coach, and then transitioning to a head coach. I've checked all the boxes.
Okay.
And so I know what it takes to be a great assistant. I know what it takes to be a good junior high coach and be supportive of the high school program. I know what it takes to be a head coach.
Yeah.
So I think all those components have shaped me to be the coach that I am today.
Yeah. How was your first head coaching game? Like, how did that go for you? Do you remember exactly how it went for you?
Oh, it was different. It was hard because, you know, I had to follow in Coach T's footsteps.
Yeah.
And that was a huge transition because she was there for so many years. She built that program from the ground up, literally.
Yeah.
And so the question that I always kept getting was, how are you going to fill her shoes?
Okay.
And I got to a point where I was like, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm just going to buy my own.
Yeah.
And so I kind of made it my own and molded it into what I wanted it to look like.
Mm-hmm.
I still utilized the things that she taught me and just built on that.
Okay.
So
was it ever a point where you feel like you probably didn't know if you could like make a career in coaching in any moment?
No, I thought I was going to always be a coach.
Okay.
I really did until these past 2 years.
Okay.
When I stopped coaching high school.
Okay, I feel that.
Yeah.
So going back to your Team USA background, so how did that come about? How did you end up like becoming a coach on that? Because I always wonder, like, how do they pick between coaches when it comes to Team USA?
That's a good question. Well, in I want to say 2015, 2016, I got a call.
Yeah.
From the women's director for USA.
Okay.
At the time, it was Carol Callan. And I didn't know who she was. Yeah. I didn't know anything about it. And she asked me if I'd be interested in coming to the USA trials for the U16 team to be a court coach.
Okay.
And before she could even finish, I was like, absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it entailed. I didn't know how I got the call.
Yeah.
She just told me that I came highly recommended.
Okay.
And I went. It was a phenomenal experience.
Yeah.
And that was something that I wanted to continue to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
And so a few years later, I got a call to be an assistant coach.
Yeah. Okay.
And it just was a domino effect after that.
So do y'all get to like critique, get to pick what players do y'all want on the teams, or how does that go?
As a court coach, as an assistant, no.
Okay.
We didn't get to select, but I'm currently on the committee that does select the players now.
Yeah.
So I'm in that role. I'll be in that role until 2028.
Okay.
So there's a committee of about 6 people that select the players to go and play overseas.
Okay. So what do you look for in a player?
I look for grit.
Okay.
I look for that dog. That. Yeah, I look for the vocal leader.
Yeah.
I look for those players that will sacrifice their bodies.
Yeah.
Will do the little things. I mean, everybody there can play.
Definitely.
So that goes without saying.
Okay.
I want to see those kids that stand out and that make everybody around them better.
Okay. I understand that. So you was a 7-time gold medalist. So describe that first feeling winning the championship. Is that the only 7 championships? So so the first one. So how was that feeling for you?
So it's funny that you bring that up because being at the Final Four a few days ago, those were the kids that I won the first one with.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So that first one was very special for many reasons. We were in Chile.
Yeah.
And it was our U16 group. And some of the kids that played, Kiki Rice, London Jones, Lauren Betts, Janiah Barker, all those kids that play at UCLA, Texas, Oregon, those kids made up one whole team.
Yeah.
And all special players.
Yeah.
And it was surreal.
Yeah.
Like little kids there getting the kids' autographs.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. And so to come back full circle and see them a few days ago, it was, I don't think anything will ever compare to that.
It was okay.
Yeah, it was truly phenomenal.
So do you ever, like, I know you watch their games, do you ever still get them like some tips on what they could have did better, or you just leave it alone since they ain't not under your wing anymore?
I don't cross that. I don't do that. But I try to continue to pour into them.
Yeah.
I still keep in contact with a lot of them. And so I just try to continue to encourage them because I know it's difficult.
Yeah.
They have the weight of the world on their shoulders, and seeing them and them, somebody's got to lose. There's only one winner at the end of the day, and if you're not the winner, you know that it's heartbreaking.
Definitely.
And so I just try to be a support system for them and continue to love on them.
So the championship that was played today, so you had players on both teams?
I did.
Okay, so they already knew it. So I know you didn't see.
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
But someone was on the team with South Carolina last year where it was. So okay.
Yeah,
well.
some of them were. But it was a great game, and 3 of the players on UConn's team, Ayana's hurt right now, so she didn't play, but KK and Sarah were on my 2 years ago 3x3 team.
Yeah.
And so we're pretty tight.
Yeah. I'm glad to see women's basketball is giving them the recognition that it's been deserved, because I've been trying to tell, because I told people a while ago, women should deserve more recognition because they play just as hard. I actually been more entertained with women's basketball than the guys. Yeah, to be honest.
Absolutely. Now, I can't go that far, but because I coach boys too.
Okay, well, I'm a fan, so I can say it. Yeah. But so before I close this podcast out, like, what advice would you give other people who want to be in your shoes one day?
Be better.
Yeah.
Be better. I would just say, be a continuous learner of the game. Go to everything that you can possibly go to. Go to clinics, go to camps, pick other coaches' brains, and just don't be complacent.
Okay.
Because we need better coaches out there.
Definitely. But like I said, I appreciate you taking the time to come on my podcast. It really meant a lot.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I done told her thank you about 10 times, about 20 times. It's just been a lot to me, yeah. But if you guys like today's video with Coach Carruthers on D-Hop TV, make sure you guys subscribe to the D-Hop TV podcast. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.